This is Sparta!
Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and I'm coming to you live from my garage again. No, we're not going to do another random tank challenge, even though that was fun and it was nice to revisit that, especially since it's been so long since I've done it. Now this time we're going to do a full garage tour, but we're going to take it one step further. We're going to also go through the tech trees and show you what I've done, you know, totally. Because a lot of I get the garage tour request a lot. A lot of people will go, "Hey man, we haven't seen a garage tour for a while. Why don't you take us through your garage?" And I'm like, "All right," but I mean, you know, that's only part of the story because I have a lot more tanks than that I've played and or sold at some point. So I want to go through everything. So right off the bat, of course, we start with. Oh, by the way, some of these tanks haven't been taken back by Wargaming yet, so keep that in mind. I don't normally have too many premium tanks. But T1E6X1 is my tank. That is the little T-Rex. Fun little tier 2 if you ever get a chance to pick one up. There's not really much that can beat it at tier 2 except maybe the H-35, which is a standard tech tree tank. I'll show you that in a minute. French heavy tank. But anyway, or it might be a medium, but it's basically a heavy. But yeah, so we got the T-Rex. We've got our Sheridan, aka Geronimo. We've got our M48 Patton, aka Hothead. We've got our T110E5, aka Damn Yankee. It's good looking tanks, man. I love American tanks. I'm American, so maybe I'm biased, but they just have good looking tanks. They're like really smooth line. I just like them. I really do. We have the big brute of the bunch, the T110E4, aka Desperate, with the mark on it. And we have the US Sexton 1, M3 Lee, at tier 3, with a 20-pounder howitzer. Thank you, British, for that. So, yeah. Of course, we have the gorgeous, the one, the only Tornado, the most feared M55 probably ever to play, that has put in serious time. Now, there are people with better stats than I have in this tank, but none of them have played as many games as I have. Just to put that into perspective, let's take a look at just my M55. 3,765 games with a 58% win rate, 31 medals, and we have a 34 hit percent with 4,765 souls claimed in 3,700 battles. And we're holding it over 88, or we're holding at 88% on the damage standing as well. So we're able to maintain over 2 marks of excellence at all times. So yeah. And just to put some other stats out there for this tank, I mean, I may or may not have a damage caused per received of over 10, which is a Gores medal essentially every time I die. So there's that. I have something along the lines of like a, what did we say it was? I forgot to look at that. Let's look so I'm not lying. 58, yeah, 58% win rate in that tank. So yeah, I may or may not love this tank, guys. So love it or hate it, you gotta respect it. Moving on, T92, aka Thunderdome, Welcome to Hell, has never once been put on a better tank than this, because that's what happened. That should be scribed on every single round that leaves this gun, because that's what happens at the end of the trajectory. Then we have the Conqueror. Notice I pulled the crew out, put in the Super Conqueror. 1 mark of excellence on this bad boy. One of my favorite heavy tanks in the game, and that's including the Chieftain and Super Conqueror. I actually think I prefer the Conqueror, tier 9. I'm not gonna lie. I do. I like it. I love it. Then we have the Chieftain. God, it's a gorgeous tank. And with this urban camo, it looks really, really good, I think. So, definitely a fan of the look of the Chieftain. And it's a good tank. Super Conqueror. There we go. A little, The Last Stand. Yeah? What do you think? I haven't actually come up with too much of a name for it. I called it The Last Stand because, I mean, let's be honest. If there's going to be a tank that's probably going to be the last one alive, it'll be the Super Conqueror, just because it's a beast. It really is. It's hard to kill this tank. Then we have Battle Axe over here in our triple colors with the fresh 2 marks of excellence. Right? Come on. You guys, I have not tried to 2-mark this tank. But I found myself, it was at 84% the other day. And I was with Tracky and them, and I'm like, dude, I got to do it. I can't be this close and not try. So I jump in it, and of course, what happens? I get to like 84.8%, and I have a bad game. Drops me all the way back down to like 84.1%. And then, pow! I pulled that like 7,100 damage game that you guys saw the other day that gave me my 2 marks of excellence. So, yeah, it was a good one. I really love the Death Star, man. It's just, once you learn how to aim the shots and where you can pin, where you can't pin, how Hesh behaves, it is absolutely a monster. Moving on. The Rue 251, the little tank that could. This little thing, I'm going to have to try these HEP rounds. Like, None keeps bringing it up, and I keep forgetting to do it. But if we look at, let's go into the stats of the ammunition here. And we look at the HEP rounds, they do have 77 to 128. I want to say he said it was like 102 millimeters of penetration for the HEP rounds, which is high explosive penetrating round, I'm assuming, which is why it's got such a high penetration for a 90 mil high explosive. So I'm going to have to try those out. They look like a really slow round, but you know, got to give it a shot. He swears by them. He's a heck of a light tank player. He actually killed me in Zyklop. If you guys saw that video, it was on, what was it, Ardennes. I was in Zyklop. I pulled like 8,000 damage that game, and I get taken out by a Rue 251, and it was none. So if you ever see him, check him out. He'll be in the comments below, I'm sure. But a shout out to him. He pulled off a brilliant tracking kill. Like, he was shooting through a doorway, and he tracked me, and he just whittled me away, and there wasn't a thing I could do about it. And that was after I ransacked his entire team. It was embarrassing. Anyway, we got the Panzer 5.4, a.k.a. the Ram Panzer. Don't run it very often. It doesn't have a crew in it at the moment. But it is one of the best tier-for-tier premium tanks you're going to get. It's absolutely fantastic when it's top tier. It's very hard to beat. And it can play as a bottom tier, but you're going to have to struggle to pin because the gun wasn't necessarily the greatest. Though I've heard it's gotten some buffs since the last time I played it. E50M. This is a good looking tank as well, isn't it? I like it. Cunning Wolf. I like it. Not much I can say about it that I haven't already said. I really like the look of this tank. It's a very mobile, heavy medium, and it's a good tank. If it wasn't for the fact that the turret is so easily pinned, this would probably be my favorite medium instead of the Patton. And Zyklop. Look at that. Just a sex. I'm going to have to 2-mark this now that I've 2-marked the bat chat. That's going to have to be a thing, guys. Hold me to it. I got to try to do it because I've had Zyklop for so long. I need to do it. Grill 15, a.k.a. Norbert. Look, the gun, I can't even fit the gun on the thing. Look. It's a thing. It barely fits in the screen. But we do have our first mark of excellence on it now as well. So, Norbert, Spartan some marks. Spartan? Sportin' some marks of excellence. There's the Hotchkiss H35. I told you, there's a little tier 2, but this thing is absolutely unbreakable at tier 2. You can actually brawl at tier 3 really well. So, definitely a dangerous tank. If you want to know where it's at, it's right here with the French, tier 2, and you'll see it right here, H35. It's the Hotchkiss H35. It is essentially a mouse at tier 2, except it has a DPM gun, so it can literally outdamage anything in its tier pretty much, with the exception of the tank destroyers. So be careful with tank destroyers. Everybody else you just ruin. The Nomad. Yep, that's right. The Nomad. It's a good tank. I told you I liked it. I told you. It's just a good tank. The Bat Chat 155-58, aka El Terrible, El Terrible, because that's how you feel when you're on the end of it. And of course, the Mark of Excellence, because very few arties that I play all the time do not have a mark, because I'm really good in artillery. It doesn't matter what it is. If I play enough battles in it, it's going to have a mark. At least one. T50-2. The little needle that Obscure Chaos bought for us and gifted us. Not getting rid of it. It's just one of those tanks. It's a fun little cruiser that when you need to, you know, feel fast and nimble and Pinocchio-ish, go out there and just DPM the snot out of somebody. There you go. Little T50-2. T100 LT. The man, the myth, the legend. The incredibly nerfed T100 LT. Now, a lot of people don't like this gun. And don't get me wrong, it's not a fantastic gun. It really isn't. It's inaccurate at distance. It lacks penetration. But it makes up for it in the low profile of the tank. Look at how tiny this thing is. Okay, let's compare. Okay, that's the little tiny T50-2. That is the, it's like they like, okay, how can we make a tank that's a lot safer for our crew? Let's make it as low as possible. So they sat some fat guy on top of it, probably me, on top of it, and it squished it down and made it super long. So, yeah, T100 LT. You either like it or you hate it. There's no in-betweens, but I like it because it's low profile, it's hard to hit, and when you do hit it, there's a good chance that all you're doing is tracking it or bouncing off the turret. It's that good. But the gun, little trolling. The Bear. Now, this is one that they haven't taken back yet. I liked it, personally. You know, the 122 mil gun is absolutely fantastic. It's got the mobility it needs to do damage across the map. So, personally, I like the Bear. Now we've got the Yazi. This is the one that I kept, guys. You guys know I kept this one because this one is absolutely fantastic. It's so disgusting at its tier. It starts to fall off a little bit at tier 9 and 10. Though if you play it correctly, you don't even have to worry about that because you shouldn't be getting shot too much. But at tier 8, you can just run straight through the enemy. You just keep going. They'll bounce off of you and you'll be hitting them for 450. We've got the Turtle. It's, again, one of those that hasn't been taken back. I might jump in this and give it another spin, guys. But definitely a tank that I may have been a little harsh on. It's not a bad tank. I didn't really give it a scathing review like I did the Glory IS-5, which almost got me into a lot of trouble with wargaming back in the day. But the Glory IS-5 was not a good tank. And this one is not that. It's not a bad tank by any stretch. I mean, the 122 mil gun, if you're hunting light tanks and lightly armored tanks, you're going to have some fun. If you're getting into a fight with anything with armor, you're in trouble. That's just the way it is. And because it's a tier 8, you're going up against all the super heavies because you can play up to tier 10. So, definitely a thing. Trinity, again, hasn't been taken back yet, so that'll be disappearing before too long. But, yeah. If it's hauled down, it's good. If it's not hauled down, good luck. But, yeah, that's the tanks that are currently in my garage. Now, if we go through, we can see the entire American tech tree, with the exception of the Super Pershing, which I've sold, the T-34, which I never owned. We own all of these tier 10s. T-57 Heavy, E3, both have been sold because I needed silver for the Super Conqueror and all that stuff. I know somebody's going to be like, but Spartan, you only get 3.2 million. I know, it sucks. But it's a thing. So, yeah, so this is my American tech tree, completely finished. Then we go down to the Russians, and you'll see that I have some Russian tanks. We've gone all the way down through to the Crazy Train here in the Object 268. We own the T100 LT. I'm thinking about going down and finishing this line at some point because I want to try that 263. It seems very, very nice. But you can see the T44, T54, and to the Object 140 T62 combo. Haven't really got that far. Just tier 8. I'm not really big into them. Then we've got all the way to the T10 unlocked, which I think I had... How much do we have? I don't remember. It needs 164,000. Yeah, so I would need 12,000 more XP, which is basically because I have so much on my IS-3, because I actually enjoyed the IS-3. Then, of course, the artillery, I completely stopped. I'm like, nope, I'm done after the 14-1. I'm done. I did try the S-51 for you guys, but wasn't really feeling it either. Just the 8-inch howitzer that early on is, A, if you hit something, great, because you're killing it, but B, I mean, it almost never hits. German line, I mean, we got a lot of the German tanks, let's be real. So we got the Grill 15, we're to the GW Tiger P, and then we stopped, didn't get the GW Tiger to finish that. We've got the Waffentrager Alfie 100 that we sold a long time ago, aka Ragnarok. We've got Jagdpanzer 100, Panzerkampfwagen 7. We played for a little while, then sold it. Wasn't a real fan of it. The gun was just too derpy for me. We have the E50M, and you can see I could unlock the E75 with a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be a little while before I get the E75 to get to the E100 or whatever. If I want to get the E100, I'm not real sure I do. E75 is probably good enough for me. And then, of course, the Leopards and stuff, we haven't really gone down that line. But the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen is probably the next tier 10 we get, and that's going to be a little ways down the road. Not in a hurry to unlock it. So, moving on to the British, you can see I've done pretty good in the British trees as well. And I'm up to the Comet. I really enjoyed the Cromwell, you guys know that. So, I may at some point decide to finish this line. Not 100% sure, but we've unlocked most of this tech tree as well. And I've thought about going down through this line as well, finishing it off. We're at the Challenger there, so that'll be fun. We go to the French tanks. Not a big fan of many French tanks, but we did go through the Lorraine 40-ton into the Bat Chat way back in the day. And we're right there. We could get the AMX 13105 if we got enough XP on this tank. But again, not really something that I'm working on. Of course, we've got the Bad Chat 155-58, and we're at tier 8 on the Foch. You can see a pattern here. It's like I get to tier 8 or tier 7 and finish, and I just stop. I'm like, all right, I got to tier 7, I'm done. So here's our Chinese tanks, and as you can see, I really haven't played anything Chinese-wise. Other than the tank destroyers, I got to tier 6. I never went further. Not because it's a bad tank, I just, you know, got started driving other things. Japanese, I started down the Japanese heavy line, and I can't remember how far I got. What do you know, tier 6. So, yeah, wasn't a big fan of them. Too slow, not enough, just... I don't know. I may at some point revisit it now that they've been changed and everything. So maybe at some point. The medium tanks, I got to the STA-1 again, tier 8, and completely stopped. Not my favorite tanks in the world. Czech tanks, of course, I've unlocked this. TVP 5051, and we sold it after they nerfed it, and I just wasn't very good in it. The Swedish tank trees. See, I've been asked to go down the heavy tank line of the Swedes, so we might do that at some point. Again, it's all it takes time. I'm just like you guys, except I don't get to play as many games as some of you do. Because of work and then the recording and everything, I only get to play a certain amount of games every week, and it's a lot less than a lot of people. Which is why after going on 5 years, I'm only at 14,600 games played at the moment. But yeah, so mercenary tanks... I really am not interested in anything other than the one for Rybot. That'll be the only one. I can't remember which one it is, to be honest. If I'm honest, I can't remember. But yeah, not too worried about it. Maybe it was Bucket. I can't remember. I'm not gonna say it is or isn't. But anyway, and then this is nothing, so that's not important. And we're back. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I know it's a lengthy video, I'm sorry about that, but a lot of people have been asking about it, and I wanted to do more than just show you guys the ones that I have in my garage. I wanted to show you the ones that I've sold over the years, and kind of go over the tech trees and where I'm at. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.